Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green, and today the Swindon Town Swoodilypoopers are in the Johnstown Paint Trophy. No one knows what this competition is, but if we lose, we don't get to play in it anymore, and we like to win all of our competitions. And I don't think in this one we have to play any tough teams. By the way, in a stunning turn of events, it is raining in England. Also, we're playing at the county ground at night, which is weird, but it's exciting. Yeah, rainy English evening. John Green and John Green on the bench today. They're a little bit tired. Plus, it's the Johnstown Paint Trophy. We shouldn't have that much trouble getting past Crawley Town. However, Green Eggs in Foderingham, also known as Wesley Crusher the Ensign Foderingham, is indeed in goal, as he always is. He's the Fat Lucas of FIFA 13, and I cannot think of a higher compliment to pay a human being. All right, so today I'm going to talk about prom, specifically my experiences with prom, which are legion. We didn't have a prom at my own school, my own high school, Indian Spring School. It's a small boarding school and not the kind of place that really has a prom. But we did have something called the senior banquet, which was followed by senior party, which is where my high school girlfriend cheated on me with one of my best friends, and I'm not going to tell that story because it's not that funny. It was the last time that he and I talked, though. However, I did go to prom twice. Well, I went to a homecoming dance once and official prom once. So I went to prom. Oh, out of nothing! Who was it? Who was it? Andy Rooney, Andy Rooney, Andy Rooney has a soul. Andy Rooney, finisher. Did you see how he just kicked the ball through like 7 different Crawley Town players? They were all like, I'll spread my legs for you, and Andy Rooney was like, perfect! Then I'll finish. Context is everything. I went to, I guess the first time I went to a prom-like event, as in I had to wear a tuxedo, I think I was a junior in high school, possibly a sophomore, and I was invited, I was at boarding school already, but a friend from my high school in Orlando, Winter Park High School, invited me to go with her to this formal, and I went because she's a very nice girl. We were not romantically linked at all. I'll just say that her name was Betsy. I'm not going to say her last name, although her last name is great. It's fantastic. I love calling my ex-girlfriends by their first and last name because they all have such magnificent last names. But I don't want to embarrass her or anything. And it's not like we're friends still, or I really don't know where she is these days. But anyway, we went. I wore a tuxedo that had a gold, sort of sparkly gold, not regular gold, but sort of like literal. I think it literally had sparkles or whatever you call them, cummerbund, and a gold sparkly bow tie. And at the time, my hair was colored a color called fuchsia plum that I had found. So I had this fuchsia plum hair and my gold cummerbund. And I sort of had a buzz cut because the fuchsia plum hair was causing fuchsia plum dandruff. And I was really embarrassed about it, so I cut my hair to try to get rid of the dandruff, but it didn't really work. Anyway, long story short, I looked fantastic. You can just picture me. My date, Betsy, who was a violinist, I believe, flautist? I don't know. Anyway, my date wore a simple, elegant, formal black dress. She looked great. I caught a lot of flack from the guys. I mean, you know, these guys weren't even at my school anymore, but I caught a lot of flack from them. I was not terribly popular, needless to say. Andy Rooney? Andy Rooney? No. Yeah, so we had a nice time. I believe we went out to dinner before at the Winter Park Racquet Club. Someone we knew had a membership there. So we got to have dinner while like looking out over what passes for a skyline in Orlando. And then we went to the dance itself, and like that was sort of medium fun in the sense that it was kind of awkward. I wasn't really clear my relationship was with this girl, and yeah, it was just kind of uncomfortable. She looked really nice because she's wearing this black dress and everything, but I didn't know if she was romantically interested in me. I was catching all this flack from the guys I went to high school with and everything, whatever. Then afterwards, I was taking Betsy home, and in the car, I was like, "Hello, it's good to see you. Thank you." And I was just like, "You know what? I'm gonna go for it." Just kidding. I did not go for it. What I did was I said, "I had a really nice time at prom tonight," and then we did like what I think is, frankly, I know this is gonna. There's like a faction of people who are gonna think that I'm lame for saying this, but I think is the most romantic thing that you can do, which is that we had an open and forthright conversation about consent. And I was like, "Do you want to make out?" And we're like in the park, in the like driveway of her house. And she was like, "I do want to make out, but I don't want to make out where my parents can see me." So we left. Oh, Andy Rooney with the game of his life. Andy Rooney, Andy Rooney, Andy Rooney has a soul. Outside the box, no less. Yeah, so we were in her parents' driveway, and then I just like pulled out and we drove somewhere and we made out for like, 45 minutes or something. And then I took her back, and it was fun. And that was my first experience with prom. Then I went to like a proper prom with my good friend Jen. Again, I won't say her last name. And that was like totally. It was I think pre-established in the spirit of having open conversations about consent. It was pre-established right at the beginning that there would be no romance at all. That I was strictly, for lack of a better word, arm candy. And as you can imagine, based on how good I looked at my first formal, I was fantastic arm candy. This time I had the good sense not to dye my hair fuchsia plum in the weeks. Oh! He almost had a hat trick. Get in there, Andy Rooney! Oh, he wants that hat trick, man. You can see it. This guy's having the game of his life. The Johnstown Paint Trophy may just be his competition. Maybe he'll carry us all the way to Wembley. Is the final of this in Wembley? I'm going to hope so, because I think it's probably our only chance to get to Wembley. Yeah, so, and that prom was, like, way more fun because we were with a lot of friends, and I think there was a limo involved, and, like, I got her a fancy, whatever that thing is that you put on the hand. She got one for me for my tuxedo, and we looked, I don't know, it was just fun, and we were with friends, and like I really like, she's a really nice person and really, really funny. She's now like a comedian in New York, so she's genuinely a very funny person. And yeah, it was pretty relaxed. And by then, that was that was a year later. I can't remember if I was a junior or senior, but anyway, it was a year later, and by then I kind of cared less what the like cool kids of my school, my old school at that point, thought of me. So it didn't, like, I didn't worry about how I looked or whether my tuxedo was stupid. And so I just wore like a plain tuxedo with a black cummerbund and black bow tie. And of course, that's exactly what you should do. You should not try to make a bold, ambitious statement about the fact that gold is coming back. You should just play it as cool as you can. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But, no making out. So there's that. But it was fun. And on the whole, I think that's sort of when prom works best. When you raise your expectations that you're going to have, like, the greatest night of your life and blah, 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 you probably aren't going to. But when when you treat it as like a fun thing that you're going to go do with your friends and a way of celebrating the end of, or the approaching end of high school, then you are going to have fun. This is like a lot of things in life, I think. If you make it about a bunch of things that it isn't about, if you sort of endow it with all of this symbolism, could it be? It could be! Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. Leroy Williamson, he scores occasionally. He doesn't always score. Leroy Williamson scores occasionally. Leroy Williamson, he scores occasionally. Hopefully soon we're going to have tracks in that will do that work for me. Where do we stand with that, Meredith? Yeah, we're on it. We're within days of that being a thing that happens. What? Meredith and I are not very good at video games, okay? Like, that's not the part that we're good at. All right, Meredith says she is good. If you're so good at video games, how come I'm not hearing fans sing the Leroy Williamson song? Oh, man, Andy Rooney wants that third goal so bad. He wants it. I mean, wouldn't that be a dream for like a guy who's just, I mean, frankly, he's had to play behind two of the greatest, I mean, well, I'll just say it, the two greatest forwards in the history of Swindon Town, John Green and John Green. He's had to play behind them all season. He's sort of the voluptuous Pericard of FIFA 13. And can you imagine if he could get his hat trick? If he could get his, oh, Andy Rooney. Andy Rooney. Oh, I know you're disappointed, buddy. Yeah, just enjoy prom. It's fun. It's no big deal. Don't make it about a bunch of things it doesn't have to be about. Because then you'll only be sad. But this is part of my larger life strategy of always lowering my own expectations as low as possible, which I have to say is not, at least according to my therapist, that good of an overall life strategy, because it leads to a lot of it leads to its own obsessive thinking problems. So I don't know. Don't take advice from me. Oh! Yeah, that's a tackle from behind, which is against the rules. You are not allowed to kick me in the knees. What? The game is over? I was having so much fun, though. Congratulations to Andy Rooney, Leroy Williamson, and Andy Rooney on a fantastic Johnstown Paint Trophy performance. We will see you next time. Best wishes.